Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. And what a ridiculous weekend of Call of Duty we have just had. It's tough to find the word to describe exactly what went down this weekend at the CDL Stage 2 Major in Minnesota. Just unbelievable. Los Angeles Guerrillas, if you guys haven't heard already, won the entire thing. So much to dive into today. There's some reaction to this victory, but also the Volk which Spart introduced, potentially getting gentleman's agreemented already. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Really up to the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. This is kind of the winning moment. The Warpath documentary the LAG guys have been doing is going to get way better, I'm sure, when this episode airs at some point or another. This was the final bracket just to share with you guys. Like, it wasn't just the grand finals that was kind of the craziest upset that we've ever seen, with Spart coming in as a sub. They're making this unbelievable lower bracket run. Slasher, no doubt the king of the lower brackets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, including the grand final. Yes, you could well argue there should be an advantage from winners more than just the map vetoes and this type of stuff, but still, Guerrillas deserve the victory, no doubt about it. But it wasn't just that, right? OpTic going out top 6, like so many crazy upsets in the first round as well, even the first round of winners, Mutineers and Breach both getting top 4. One of the craziest and most unpredictable events you've seen in a very long time, and it's crazy really that to me, I think a lot of the online qualification matches for this major were very straightforward and easy to predict and generally went as expected. And then the major itself was completely on another level. Just wanted to look as well at kind of some of the overall series stats here just for this one over the breaking point side, just make sure that's fully on screen. I mean, Cellium has a 1.12. I believe also this might have been the first event in quite some time where Simp had a negative KD. I believe he had a 0.95 over the course of the entire event. Not a rarity, I guess, for SMGs to struggle. aBeZy has a 0.76 in the grand finals. But yeah, that's pretty insane, right? That Simp doesn't usually have negative events. It happened right here. But, you know, they still make the grand finals. On the LAG side, it was Slasher who had a great series. But Huke, to be honest, for me, the finals MVP. Spart was great the entire event. Asim was very impactful. He had so much damage as well, the most damage in the lobby, just behind Simp actually. Despite going negative, he had crazy damage, but it was Huke with a 1.24, just so impactful in the grand finals. I think I've been saying on this channel the last couple of weeks really, that like, when are we going to see that Huke that we know is there, we know what he's capable of, but he hasn't really just done all that much so far this year. He finally just came to play in the grand finals, and that was enough to get them over the line. A ridiculous series. This was some of Slasher's response as well. I'm the king of the losers bracket, the king of Los Angeles. Put some respect on my name, Jumps S tier. So, you know, just pretty funny, right? Because a lot of people have been talking down on Slasher, saying this guy should retire, get out of there. And he's definitely proved the haters wrong this weekend. Phenomenal performance from him. Of course, look, he was on Los Angeles Thieves last year. We're going to talk about them later today and what this victory means for the team on the other side of Los Angeles, because there's certainly a lot to discuss on that point as well. But yeah, Slasher says, I'm inevitable. He's kind of known himself as Thanos for a few years at this point. Had a difficult time the last few seasons. Was such a dominant force, frankly, in Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, World War 2 as well on Rise Nation, no doubt. And finally back on top after just over 1,000 days. So there's a lot of players really that have been building up these streaks over the last few years when FaZe have been dominating, that are, getting up in the region of 1,000 days without a victory. Dashy was at just over 1,100, Slasher here at kind of 1,000, and well, he gets over the hump as well and wins the series. Obviously, we've got to talk about Spart as well. Major 2 champs. Word can't even describe how I'm feeling right now. Pretty sure Spart said he won his first league match ever, because he was on this team, Los Angeles Guerrillas. Not this team, of course, but this organization way back in Modern Warfare. To not particularly great success, didn't look very good at all, and we did wonder whether he'd ever get another spot in the Pro League, to be honest, because sometimes a bad performance like that, a bad stretch like that, can tank your stock for years, which pretty much it did. And finally gets back, proves his worth, won his first league match ever this past week, and then goes on to, well, break the Search and Destroy win streak record in the lower bracket and complete one of the craziest lower bracket runs, if not the best of all time, to be perfectly honest, beating FaZe in the grand finals. Unbelievable scenes. Yeah, I can't honestly believe what happened this weekend. And Ramara even tweets this out before the grand finals. Major isn't over. Tipping my hat to LAG Florida, Seattle for showing up playing some great cards. The most competitive this league has been since it started. I really went into yesterday with OpTic being out there thinking, okay, FaZe probably going to walk away with this one relatively comfortably, but not happening at all. Right? That's what's crazy. We can talk about FaZe in grand finals on their record there, but just the idea that other teams are there in the grand finals to compete with them and beat them just makes this this season very entertaining to watch. We kind of thought after Major 1 and the way this Major 2 was going, it's going to be OpTic versus FaZe in every grand finals this year, and of course that's a great matchup. We want to see some other teams compete. LAG come out of nowhere and do it. I'm sure that's going to be so inspiring as well to other teams that they can potentially make a similar run at future tournaments. Pretty sure it was this time last year as well, the Stage 2 Major. At last year when Toronto won, right, they beat FaZe 5-2, I think 5-3 in the grand finals there. Scum says, so insanely tiffable at Huke, Slasher, Asim and Spart. What a performance from those guys. And this also from Dashy. I know Matt is somewhere out there smiling right now, because Matt, that being formal, he's always kind of considered himself at the hard counter to Slasher, and as soon as formal's now retired, then Slasher Slashback being on top kind of says something maybe about Formal, that he kept him down for these last several years. Formal actually does agree though. If Los Angeles Guerrillas make this run, it'll actually be so typical, a fate losers run. Typical really has to go, but maybe we can put up with it for just one more video. He gives us Slash for his props as well in the reply right here. This also from Spart I thought was pretty incredible because, he played his first series against OpTic and got absolutely bodied at like a 0.55 KD or something. And, at the time we were thinking, okay, wow, this guy just got destroyed. Playing Scump on Gavutu, not a good time. Even fairness, their Gavutu was still pretty horrible this weekend, but they got the job done anyway. I want to thank OpTic for destroying me so hard, he says, and making me realize how to play the game somewhat correctly. Not even kidding. And, thank you, Scump, he says in the reply. So, thought it was pretty funny, right? Like, he goes into that OpTic series, gets bodied so hard. He's like, okay, hang on a second, I need to focus up here. What were they doing? What was I doing wrong? And, just really looking at his gameplay and then coming into this event and going all the way to the top. It's just unbelievable stuff. This also from Slackdroid. He tweets this out way before the grand finals. You got to think Spart gets a starting spot somewhere. That really seems to be like, surely they have to keep this team. Like, there's no way you just break apart a championship winning roster, bring Gunless back into the team. Spart seem to bring, especially in their Search and Destroy, a bit more playmaking. Like, and of course that creates crazy questions about where Gunless could go. Like, if this team does stick as LAG, like, as if Gunless gets better soon as well, then maybe another organization decides to get his services. So just create some incredible storylines we did not think at all would be having going into this event, of course, last weekend. But there's no way they break up this roster, right? Surely that can't happen, right? Octane says, one of the best performances ever at all these guys. So, of course, we'll talk about Los Angeles Thieves later on today, as I mentioned. We're going to talk about Spart, and we have to talk about the Volk, because this was the gun that he brought into play. It is rather reminiscent, you could say, of CWL Fort Worth back in 2019. We looked yesterday at the fact that that was the last time that Crimsix, Clayster, nor Scump were all on the Championship Sunday, and that event was obviously a very similar way in a way. It was Luminosity Gaming. They made the grand finals. They won it by bringing the Rampart into the meta for that event. Classic really introduced the Rampart. Like, it was eventually, I think it was nerfed soon after, but it was also going to GAs right after the fact as well by the pros because they felt it was too strong. And also the thing is, when one team is doing really well, a player like Spart brings the Volk out into play, and it works really well this weekend. Other teams tried to adapt to the meta, pull it out, and didn't really work out as well as Spart was able to use it in a lot of particular situations. They might be thinking, okay, wow, it's in our benefit, it's in the 11 teams in the league, the top Los Angeles Guerrillas benefit to get rid of that gun and gentleman's agreement it, because LAG have won the event in this situation. And, very reminiscent, obviously, of that Fort Worth event where a kind of similar thing happens. A team wins on a massive upset, bringing kind of a meta-changing weapon into play. So incredible the impact that Spart had, not just on this team, but on the league in general. And we do have to wonder what will happen there. The Volk obviously is very good. Spart reckons that with the Flash Hider instead of the F8 Stabilizer, that's the secret to making this gun dominant. And of course, other players were kind of struggling with it or having good times with it. It was kind of back and forth, to be honest. To me, watching it be used doesn't seem like it's particularly overpowered at all. I think it's a nice kind of intermediate where it can't gun people at super long range, but it's great on maps like Tuscan and stuff like this. So as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't seem really all that strong or too strong to not be used, especially compared to the MP40 and the Auto. But still, as I say, what we saw in Fort Worth a few years ago, and what we might be seeing again, is that pro teams think, okay, LAG, they just chalk up their victory to the fact that they were using the Volk, and say, look, if we get rid of the Volk, they won't be so good anymore. We'd prefer to go back to the 2-weapon meta, and well, that seems to be what the guys on the flank think is what's going on. I shared this clip for you guys last night. Zuma and Sack seem to believe the pros have long been discussing this over the last few days in kind of the gentleman's agreement chat, and they've pretty much agreed potentially already to get rid of it, even though it's not necessarily too powered and should be GA'd, but just kind of the pros being the pros feel like when anything disrupts the meta and a team wins unexpectedly, then it's time to go.
What do y'all think is going to happen to the Volk? We were kind of talking about it on the
I heard it's getting GA'd already. I heard it's already being talked about.
I think it's gone. I don't think it should be gone, but it's going to be gone knowing how the way people are.
Yeah, I think they will. Dude, do you know how people were thinking? It was the same thing with Nick. Like, oh my God, like they brought up, they won they used a Volk and won the event. Like,
pros just don't want a crazy change of adjustment. Like I said, I think it changed some of the maps, and people have realized that, and they're going to want 2 guns, even though it's not OP at all, and they'll just get rid of it probably.
So honestly, I do hope this doesn't happen. I think it was a great addition, honestly, seeing the Volk this weekend. Like anything, whenever you get like a 3-weapon meta, in Venice we kind of have something a little bit more interesting than just 2 weapons, because yes, it's MP40 Auto, we do at least have snipers this year, the pistol is great as well, so you do get to see that on occasion, but it would be great to have the Volk in the mix as well. Definitely viable, definitely works. Is it too strong though? I don't really think so, because from my perspective, if people are still using the autos and the MP40s, like if it's not 4 Volks on the map, like, and it's usually only 1 on a team, then you know, surely that's not too strong, right? It's kind of the flex weapon that we've had in the past, to be honest. So to me, it seems perfectly reasonable. I hope the pros don't get rid of it. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, based on the history. But I honestly don't think that was the only piece to Los Angeles Guerrillas' success this weekend by any means. Their search and destroy was great even without the Volk. They played a phenomenal team game. Everyone turned up. I hope they can continue their run as time progresses as well. We've got to talk about this from Lionman, also pre-final stats, because have to mention FaZe real quick. This was going into the finals, where of course they end up losing the final once again. But Simp, aBeZy and Arcitys, pro tournaments 12+, their average placing along these tournaments is a 2.36. I actually don't believe that includes this grand final, so it's even slightly better than that. Their series win-loss is 81 in 1%. Like, it's just honestly pretty absurd. 10 finals appearances, 6 tournament wins, 2 out of 2 COD champs rings together. But of course, it does have to be said, the fact that these guys again make a grand finals and again fall short against a team they should have beaten. Last year, in fairness, they did win a load of grand finals, but they were kind of by far the best team in the game last time. This year, they got 5-2 by OpTic, losing last map Berlin Search and Destroy. Yesterday, they get 5-2 by Los Angeles Guerrillas, losing last map Berlin Search and Destroy. Stage 2 last year, they lost to Toronto Ultra. Like, they're incredible at making grand finals, and if you're making grand finals like pretty much every event, you're going to win a fair chunk of them. But their record in grand finals isn't particularly special, and it seems to me they are somewhat vulnerable to situations like this. Like, when LAG are on a super heater, when the team's got loads of confidence, like, it feels like FaZe do kind of get in their own heads a little bit, or something goes wrong for them in these kind of pressure moments that end up falling short. So definitely an interesting one, right? They're always in the grand finals, they're always going to give themselves a chance, but just the fact that they didn't win one in a fashion that was pretty much everyone expected them to does that, well, I guess raise more questions about this team, especially the kind of dynasty that people kind of maybe want to attribute to this squad. When you're losing grand finals like that, I'm not quite sure you can make that case as of yet. That's just my perspective. This also for Master's teamwork wasn't there. It was really that series of 4 maps in a row from the, what was it, the Gavutu control on the game 3, I guess it was the Search and Destroy before that, where they just got completely bodied for like several maps in a row. And maybe it was teamwork, maybe it was something else, but Arcity's pretty sad about it from his perspective. Just great to see another team win other than OpTic or FaZe, because I did think going into Sunday this might be a pretty boring affair, but you know, it was not the case at all. Glad I stayed up for it. I'm sure if you guys did from Europe or from other difficult time zones, you had a good time as well. Simp says Los Filiosis, he's obviously going through it right now, but still, they know they can bounce back. Maybe they're in the GA chat saying get rid of this Volk, right? We want to get back on top without the Volk. They would have wanted it, maybe in their opinion, right? Who knows? I don't reckon they fully believe that, but still, I do hope that weapon stays. I'm sure FaZe will be back in business. I would be surprised if they don't win an event this year, but you know, it could be possible, right? Who knows, right? Looking at the way these last few grand finals have gone, put FaZe in the grand finals against anyone, and they might well throw it away. This then, just as we close out the video, the unexpected, I mean, unexpected is the understatement of the century, to be honest. This is that the final placings of the tournaments. So, well, the bottom 4, Ultra, Paris, Legion, I guess Paris was, and maybe Ultra, I guess, and maybe Rokkr, to be fair, but like some of these teams, I didn't really expect to get top 12. I thought Subliners would do somewhat better. Ravens, Los Angeles, Thieves in top 8, as I say, we'll talk Thieves later today. Surge and OpTic get top 6, and then the top 4, like, what is this? Mutineers 4th, Boston Breach 3rd, FaZe 2nd, Los Angeles Guerrillas 1st, taking home $200,000. Unbelievable stuff. Very much intrigued to your thoughts and all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit a like button, tells the YouTube gods it's a good video, and as like you should see it as well. And I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.